Excuse me. Man, I thought I was done, but I have to finish my website before my muse, Reila, will work with me again. So I did, excuse me, I did a baptism shoot. And originally the idea was for it to be a book, but I only have so much time in a day. But it was a great idea, and I'm learning something about our callings, that our callings are set upon our soul, and even when we go to heaven, we'll engage in them. And then if we merge what we know about our calling, which is something that, God's put to call us towards that we'll be good at. And you can adjust your soul too. You can say God, like, hey, I'd rather do this. And he'll either go back in time and set that up and let it merge, and then you'll do something intricate and beautiful, or he'll adjust it and give you something new. I'm almost positive that I was going to be an athlete. My dad wanted me to be an athlete. My grandpa wanted me to be in football. I was a blonde-haired baby, so I was getting asked by all these talent scouts to come on audition, and I was homeschooled, so I had the time, and I'm smart, so I had the focus and the memory, and I'm pretty good at acting. But once I heard that story about Solomon splitting the babe, and so what happened is there were two moms and each had a kid, and one of the moms rolled over her baby in the middle of the night and suffocated it, and the baby died. So the mom, who accidentally killed her baby, stole the other ones. So they went before the king and said, it's my baby. No, it's my baby. It's my baby. No, it's my baby. And King Solomon, who was the son of King David, you've heard of David and Goliath, I'm sure, said, all right. And he told the guard, cut the baby in half and give each woman half. And so one woman said, yeah, that's fine, that's fair. And the other woman said, no, let her keep it. Because the woman didn't want her baby to die. She'd rather have someone else raise it than it die. And King Solomon said, that's her. That's the real mom. Gave the baby back to its real mom. And I thought that was awesome, that you could do something so horrific but be righteous and right at the same time. So once I got on my knees and I prayed, I told God, like, make me like King Solomon. It changed my future because I got really into miracles, the supernatural. That took a while. I was talking about gifts. I'm sorry, I don't remember where I was going. I had to clear a lot of the footage I had taken on my iPhone. It was like almost 30 gigabytes. But I should really just start the whole video over, but I kind of like making mistakes. I feel it's kind of interesting. Well, anyways, this is a baptism, like a baptism photo shoot, and it was a lot of fun. I think one of the things I just wanted to say is that since I have a calling, and my calling is now to be creative. We learned from the prophet Cat Care that we say like inventors on earth, but they call them creators in heaven. This is all over the place. I apologize. I keep having these ideas on just how to do interesting film when I think. And I was watching Mr. Beast. If you don't know who Mr. Beast is, he's one of the biggest YouTubers of our generation. Well, probably since YouTube was YouTube. And I watch gifted people because you can learn a lot, especially if you consider giftings, right? My roommate can multiply 4-digit numbers in his head. I can't do that, but I can look at somebody and understand their personality in like between 1 and 3 seconds. I was watching Mr. Beast, and he just has all these ideas for great video content and all these ideas for how to make the video content. And so I like it when people exercise their gifts so they grow and become greater. So I had this idea for a baptism shoot, kind of like the spiritual storytelling of what it is to be baptized in the spiritual realm and what that might look like artistically, creatively. So I call up Reila and her twin sister, and it was really cool. I bought some black light body paint and some black light just like kind of like tape, like sticky tape. And so we wrapped them around her knuckles and we put the paint all over them and we made like a story. And it came out really good. And that was like so long ago. Yeah, Reila she didn't get mad, but she just said, I'm not doing more photo shoots till you finish your website and get all the photo shoots on the website as you want them. And I thought I should do a review of my work so people can understand what I do. I feel that when we review movies and books, we can miss the point. You don't want to judge lasagna thinking it's spaghetti, and you don't want to judge a hamburger thinking it's steak. There's this movie called Hannah that's like a small action film starring a girl. It's really interesting, but it has some gross parts. And when I was working at the movie theater, a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people did not like that movie. It did horrible in sales, which is something I care about. I always think, why did this movie do horrible? Because I want to make maybe movies one day, but definitely anime. Anyways, people would come out and they'd say like, oh, that's such a horrible movie. And finally I'd stop them. I said, wait. You guys realize that this was Little Red Riding Hood, the kids' story. And they'd stop and say, what? What do you mean? And I would say, okay, so she's red, right? She's got Little Red Riding Hood. She's got the red hood, right? And in the story, there's the hunter. And so her dad is the hunter, right? And they're trying to hunt this woman. That's the wolf. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, okay, remember that scene? Like, you can see her eye, and they focus on the teeth, and they focus on the feet. And I'm like, oh yeah. And then I say, remember the 3 characters that were really gross and perverted? Those are the 3 pigs. Remember, they're all talking about Grimm. Grimm wrote the book, Grimm's fairy tale. And then they light up. Oh, wow, that is really interesting. So this whole time it was like this adaptation of Little Red Riding Hood. Like, yeah, I really like that movie now. That is a really good movie. And so maybe ultimately this will help my sales and help people who buy my art or observe my art, people who partake in my art, like it more. I tend to have a pretty good instinct on that. But we shall see. Oh, I should probably load the first one, huh? What are you? Here we go. Okay. So baptism 1. So I love working with Reila. I love the muscles. I love, she used to be a gymnast, so she's got these big gymnast thighs and legs and the broad shoulders from being a gymnast. She's also a hardcore Catholic, so she's real serious. But she's so easy to work with. I was like, okay, here's the backdrop. Say here, we're gonna act depressed and sad. Let's get your hands here, curl them, tighten them. And we're really good just with working with each other because models, non-professional models get real uncomfortable. Like, where do I put my hands? How do I look? I'm not good an actor. So with Reila, I'm very clear. I want this. And she's like, okay. And then she knows if I don't like something, I'll tell her. She doesn't have to assume. And then she likes heavy metal. So always listen to like heavy metal in the background. Da, 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 da. And then she'll like, She's great. So I just took some elements from a website that I use. I took the film strips and then I turned the background beige and I messed with the words fractured and the one. I cut the photos so they fit in the film thing. I put black behind the photos so it looked more like film, and then I crisscrossed the film to make it interesting. And that's always kind of what I'm thinking. Is this interesting to the hearts of people who watch it? Is this captivating enough to where they'll want to maybe spend money for it? And once I feel that I'm kind of there, I move on. Because money makes the world go round, and I want to do big, amazing things in my life. Excuse me. And this is what it's going to take. But I really like it. So we had like a few photos of her kind of like, she's going like this, right? And she just took the photos of her just being in a slightly different posture, so it's not all exactly the same. And then you notice the last photo, I made it just a little bit different color to make it interesting. But it's great. It's one of her favorites too, which made me really happy when she was like, oh, I really like this. And then my other model, Katie, the dancer, she really, really liked them, and that was really encouraging to hear. I think my photographer didn't really care.